this Friday, February 16th.
What's that?
That's the day that my... What's up guys, how's it going? Currently heading to go pick up my car from a wash. I feel like I've hardly been showing it because it's been absolutely filthy. So all of you that are new, this might be the first time you actually see it. Finally we'll be having it back and in nice and clean condition. There it is. So this car honestly was the first thing that I ever splurged on at all with money from my business. As I've said, you know, in the beginning, you really have to keep the money in the business for a while. You're reinvesting, you're growing, you're not just taking profits, but at some point you want to treat yourself to something. And so for me, that was probably a year and a half or so into the business. It had been going well for maybe not exactly a year and a half, don't quote me exactly on that. I would need to think back, but roughly. And you know, things have been going well for quite a while, and growing up I always loved cars, and I'd been driving the same super cheap $3,700 Nissan 300ZX 1988 from the time I was 16 until 23 when I made the leap into this car. And not that this car is honestly that expensive. If anyone is interested in more car related stuff, maybe I'll make a separate video, but you know, like this is a car that was originally like $80,000, but I bought it already depreciated. So honestly, it's pretty economical. It's not that expensive. It's probably cheaper than you'd think. It's quite a good buy and a lot of car for the money. So yeah, I mean, I always loved cars, but I think like, you know, throughout high school and stuff like that, I had such a poverty mindset. I just didn't think anything was possible. I was just poor and had a poor mindset. I've made those videos about mindset and just you need to normalize it and all of that. But so like, and I kind of wanted to show this car because I love it, and you know, I'm starting to think about the next one. I've had this for a year and a half already, and so I just kind of want to like put it on the record, just so I'll always remember it if I do end up selling this in a few months or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it was the first thing I really splurged on. We were still living at a studio apartment at the time, and this was the first thing that I spent any considerable amount of money on. Not that it was, again, not that it was crazy expensive, but it was still me just investing back into myself, not as an investment, but just as giving myself something as a reward, I guess, which I think is important once you get to that level and you can do it. Now, don't mix that up. I don't think you should be buying a car right away as soon as you start your business, but if things are running really well for a while, then I do think that stuff, if you want it, like, I don't really think there's any harm in that. Honestly, like, I don't think there's a better car for the money, just in terms of how much you're getting in every absolute aspect. And so now that it's clean for once, I guess I'll cut into some sick quick b-roll and actually show some of the details of the cars and what makes this particular one so special, because I actually got this car from Canada. It was so particular that I had to get this particular one. So I'll go over a little bit of just why this particular one is so special. Okay, so first off, it is a Cayman S, not just a regular, which that was the first thing I was looking for. It's got the turbo wheels on here from the 911 Turbo of this generation. It has the, first of all, obviously it's black with red, which is like my favorite color scheme. It has a manual transmission, which was 100% key for me. It has the Sport Chrono package, so this is a track timer, makes it super sick. It's got the Alcantara seat inlays, basically just spec'd to absolute insanity. Carbon fiber everywhere, the shifter, this entire center area, even down here, all of the trim across here, just ridiculous. So basically it's the sickest spec Cayman of all time. So to tie this in with Amazon, so it's not purely just a car video, let's talk about when you should pay yourself. So as I kind of said, I would say, you know, try not to pay yourself for a while, because ultimately you want to be building something that is growing over time. So it's going to take those profits to go into expansion, to add new products, to order more inventory, to invest in ads, to invest in building up your community and your list or future product developments. So the sooner that you need to pull out profits, that's just going to limit what you could potentially be dumping back into the business. So ultimately it's best if you can prolong that. So I like to say, like, the best place to be is to have some other kind of income coming in, not like quit cold turkey and go like, I'm gonna start Amazon, because being in a place where you need to take profits out immediately, that is a tough place to be. Because like I said, you need to be rolling back, especially those initial profits, into your cash flow of ordering more inventory. If your initial order goes really well, you're immediately going to need to order more. You're gonna wanna launch new products. So it's hard to just take immediate profits very, very soon when the business is still young. So hopefully you are starting this with some other hustle, some other job, something else going on, such that you can delay it. Now, something that I probably would have done a little bit differently is, as soon as something is really working, I would be very open to taking loans and money sooner than I did. I do use those now to fund inventory. But when you have something that is clearly high ROI and it's working, you can use low interest business loans, of course, at your risk, to fund inventory when you know that the return is so much higher than what you are paying for that money. The money is cheap in terms of loans. So, you know, maybe that could allow you to pay yourself sooner in some issues if you are taking on loans and lending and things like that. But for the most part, we're not going to be dealing with that from the beginning. So I would say, you know, try to push it back as long as you can. So hopefully you have some other way of funding your life, or even if that means, you know, in some cases running up business stuff on credit cards, because you don't want to just be needing to pull out that little bit of profit that you're making in the beginning. It's just going to make it that much harder to ever grow. So you need to be aggressive in pushing it back and really trying to expand and grow, because if you're not growing, it's dying ultimately. So you can't just be content in being like, oh, I'm profiting 3K a month and I'm extracting 3K a month. That is not a great place to be long-term. So you need to be focused on growth. You need to be reinvesting, especially for a while, until there is a surplus of cash. And at that point where it doesn't make sense to just be throwing it all in, there's extra cash, everything is rolling nicely and growing still, then you can start taking out some serious profits. So I'm gonna wrap up there. Hope you guys liked this video. Let me know in the comments what car you think I should get. I have some ideas. And yeah, get in the Facebook group, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in the next one.